Good afternoon on what is a cold, bright and snowy day. It is Wednesday the 18th of January. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. Oh yeah. And a big parcel to continue unboxing. So let's get inside to find out what I've got in here. Get past the packaging. So I've got this small thing and bundle of the cyborg in there, which I've already done an unboxing of. There is the Hearts of Darkness, which is the newest expansion for the Aliens role-playing game. So of course this is a big box of things from Free League Publishing, and the next thing I'm going to look at is this, which is for, as you can see, for Vaesen. Now Vaesen is the Nordic Horror Roleplaying game. It's set during the 19th century, and it's exploring the point where superstition and folklore and modernity and change and technology clash. The player characters are members of an organisation called the Society, which founded, and then they are given the keys to its castle and have to recreate it and rebuild it as they go out and investigate this clash between the old and the new, as creatures of superstition and folklore react to the changes about them. So Vaesen itself, as I said, it's the Nordic role-playing game. It is set in Scandinavia, primarily Sweden, but it does go beyond the borders of Sweden. But this supplement is Mythic Britain and Ireland, and it comes to Great Britain. So, leave the mythic north and set sail for the mist-shrouded isles of Mythic Britain and Ireland, explore the bustling streets of London and discover the secrets of Rose House and the British Society. Roam the islands and walk the moors in search for long-lost tales and ancient remnants. In this expansion to the award-winning Vaesen Nordic horror role-playing game, you will find a complete guide to the supernatural British Isles, including the great city of London and the countryside beyond. Mythic Britain and Ireland is written by industry legend Graham Davis, of course, who is responsible for co-writing and developing Warhammer and its world, in particular the Warhammer Fantasy roleplay. And key features include information about the British Society, its founders and headquarters, a gazetteer of the sprawling city of London, complete with adventure locations and secret societies, a guide to the mythology of Mythic Britain and Ireland with information on a score of mythological locations across the islands, a chapter dealing with several mythological beings with stats, background information, story seeds and variant, and 3 complete new mysteries to play. Now, as ever, with the Vaesen line of books, there aren't very many of them. I think this is the 4th. But it's going to be a lovely book. The artwork on the front there is fantastic, and if you feel at the cover, it's got this canvas effect, which is really fantastically tactile. It feels so good. You know, basically, so many books are glossy. They feel, oh yes, that's all very nice, but this feels really different. It makes it feel stand out. You know, when you pick it up. So inside, the image of the Green Man there, and of course, there we go. One green man. Preface by Graham Davis. The contents page. Before we have a map of Great Britain. So we have Ireland, England, Wales, and Scotland there. And an explanation of basically an explanation overview of what the country is called. The country, or rather, the 4 countries are like. Because it's 4 nations, essentially four nations, 1 country, and it's dealing with essentially with it just discuss the issues like history and fantasy and conflicts in society, Fenian ferries and others. This is important in part because you remember that throughout this period, that Ireland was part of the British Isles, part of the Empire, but not which was not accepted by all of the population. So you have that conflict there already built into the setting. We'll look at the old ways and the new, and an explanation of currency. If you're British, you won't have a problem with that, or shouldn't do. And then we get into things like city life and social class, which is optional. but brings out much of the flavour and feel of the Victorian era, because this is very much a Victorian era set role-playing game, and we have a fantastic street scene there. And what's interesting thing about the social class is that because it's so stratified, some classes have access to some places that the others don't. You know, in general, high society will not necessarily know what's going on down below the stairs, although, you know, the servants and so on might have a better idea of what's going on upstairs, because they're meant to be, you know, unseen as it were, but they do see. So, overview of the important cities of the country. So, London, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Liverpool, Manchester, Dublin, Belfast, and so on. And these are accompanied by scenario hooks for each of them. And the thing is with these is that a paragraph is not enough. We know that. They could have whole books devoted to them. But this is just an overview, and it's up to the game master to go away and research some more, because they'll have their big books out there discussing each of these locations, each of these cities, and the legends and mysteries attached to them. So then we delve into London itself, capital of Great Britain, heart of the empire, as they say, and its particular locations. So St Paul's Cathedral there, the British Museum, to Highgate Cemetery, Hyde Park, and so on, Scotland Yard, the Times, not so much a place as an institution, similarly for the British Museum, of course, but the Times itself, really, as a newspaper, a record, London Zoo, railway terminals, all bringing the city to life. And then we have a sort of like very good map of London. I mean, this is sort of like the thing you would expect anyway in a book like this. Characters, celebrity encounters, because the city is full of important people, whether that's Arthur Conan Doyle, author of the Sherlock Holmes stories, Florence Nightingale, and so on, and even we have and then Chief Inspector Frederick Aberline, who investigated the Jack the Ripper murders, and we've actually got Jack the Ripper in here, and we've actually got several several fictional creations of the period. So Sherlock Holmes does appear, as does Sir Harry Flashman from the George MacDonald Fraser novels, basically, you know, ultimate in caddery, rakery, and cowardice. And if you have not read those books, do so. They're hugely enjoyable. So Inspector Lestrade, A.J. Raffles, and so on. Ada Lovelace, of course, is real. But you've also got Sir John Francis Varney, Vampire, Oscar Wilde, W.B. Yeats, and so on. And then we get into societies. So obviously the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Society of Psychical Research, all real. And then we have mysterious places at like Wookey Hold in near Wales and Somerset, Loch Ness in Scotland, Giant's Causeway, just overviews again. These are starting points, but then we look at the traditions of Mythic Britain and Ireland, and talking about the parallel worlds, and there are plenty of those, primarily Tyn and Og, and where the She reside, but we do have a discussion of fairy glades and the role of fairy in our folklore. Now, and then we've got basically replication of the artwork on the front, and a discussion of the society, the equivalent of the society, the same similar English counterpart or British counterpart to the one in Sweden. And then, where will the three witches meet again? And then, you know, so discussion of policies, operations, what it's all up to, headquarters, and we have new archetypes. So, athlete, we're done as a boxer there, because at this point, boxing was a sport that was bare knuckle. You know, at least until later in the century, when the Marquis de Rosebery formulated formulated. Queensberry, sorry, formulated the rules of boxing. Okay, then we have entertainer and socialite. So we've got a stage magician there, and these work for men and women, but primarily, if you depending upon the society that you're kind of running, you know these are you can swap between the roles in terms of genders, but obviously some of these are the society would have a different attitude towards them if they are female, unfortunately. But anyway, supernatural creatures, and there is no doubt that the British Isles has plenty of those. So we're talking about all of the different options there, that essentially the things that they can have, whether that's partial invisibility, separable soul, and so on. And then we get deep into them with the banshee and the black dog. The black dog runs at night. The boggart. Dullahan, or Dullahan, I don't know how to pronounce that, not one I've come across. Glastig, hag, knocker, leprechaun. And these are illustrated really great. I do like these illustrated, fantastic. Knuckle V, Pixie, and of course Puka, Red Cap, and a lot of these have sort of like appeared in gaming supplements, down the up and down the history of role playing. Pages of White Dwarf or Dragon magazine and that sort of thing over the years. Appeared in, obviously in the Changeling role-playing game from White Wolf and so on. But here we've got a lovely sort of like version, which sort of takes it directly to the folklore, bringing in existing Vaesen, mermaids, nymphs, Vater, and trolls. Rarer creatures in some cases in the British Isles. Then we get on to the first scenario, which is going to be Old Meg dealing with a hag. Here we go to South Gloucestershire, and the town of Brankham. Nice maps here. So what's we got? Various seas. Old Gaffer Ingham, my old gaffer as they say. Time we got to get down to the confrontation and the aftermath at the end of the scenario. And then we have the Lantern Will incident. This is dealing with a knocker. And this is going to a mining village in Wales. And then you've got notes in here. You do have notes in here, sort of like, so you could adapt this to run it in Sweden if you wish, if you are running a campaign based around the society in Sweden. But rather than in Mythic Britain and Ireland. And there's the village map of Lantern. This is the family Thomas. Again, nice illustrations. Sort of classic Welsh-looking named NPCs. Dai Davis. And of course, because it's in Wales, it's got to involve a mine, and because it's involving a knocker as well, got to involve a mine. And then we have the Hampstead Group. And this takes place in the heart of London. In particular, Hampstead. More upstanding members of society, of course. Sergeant Gerald Hall, Ronald Blake, looks to be a journalist. We have a decent £4 there. presumably the villainess of the piece, I'm guessing. And then we have the handouts at the back there. And so on. And then at the back, expanded profession table. So you can use this obviously with the Vaesen core rulebook, nice addition, and extra life events for the different archetypes provided in this book. So, brilliant, nice bibliography, including games. And that's so you've got reference here to Cthulhu by Gaslight here, and GURPS Fairies. So that is Mythic Britain and Ireland for Vaesen, the Nordic horror role-playing game. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box, which I will continue unboxing, and pull out a book or game, which I will then chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching. Be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.